Hi everyone, I'm Naman Gupta and welcome to the next episode of Take On Web3. And today we have Mr. Pankaj Diwan. Very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you, Naman. Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Thank you. And today, Mr. Pankaj is basically the founder of India Blockchain Forum, and I'm so excited to talk about the entire blockchain space, Web3 space, and how developers are actually leveraging the entire technology. So, Pankaj, I would like to start with this: that how do you see uh, in the current scenario that how developers are actually engaging and interacting and leveraging the Web3 technology, considering whatever the current scenario is from the chain side as well, from the tool side as well. What are your thoughts on that?
So it's very interesting. While a generation which is more aware of Web 1 and Web 2 continues to debate about the Web 3, continues to debate about is Web 3 for real or is it hype and all that. The young developers I see across India. I was in Indore the other day, a couple of days back, and I've also been traveling to many other parts of India. I think they've
Mm,
picked it up very nicely. You see a lot of enthusiasm in the young developers in terms of technologies related to Web3. So, be it in the NFT space, be it trying to learn smart contracts, be it dirtying their hands with Ethereum or Polygon or
correct.
Hyperledger for that matter. So, I think I see a lot of enthusiasm. Obviously, they need a lot more hand holding and guidance, but I do see a lot
Yes.
of interest and enthusiasm amongst the young developers.
Correct. So you're into the upskilling part, right? You really want developers to learn this technology. Uh, what do you think is the biggest motivation as of now, for the developers to learn and enter into Web3? Because a lot of times I also interact with the developers and they're like, my friends are doing that. They're looking for more something like very stable thing or whatever, right? So what do you think, the developers who are listening to us right now, watching us, uh, is the biggest motivator for them that, hey, this is the reason you should upskill yourself and you should enter into Web3. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think while there is a lot of hype that keeps happening about crypto, and then it goes in a sinusoidal cycle when there's hype sometimes and then there's a low sometimes. As a technology, I do not think there is any doubt about the capabilities and about the promise of blockchain technology. So whether it is
Mm,
startups or enterprises who are building solutions, who are building pilot projects, who are building proof of concepts, I think for them there is always going to be a need and a big talent gap exists in terms of
mm,
smart Web3 programmers. Plus, uh, today in a globalized scenario, it's not
mm,
as if these developers are going to look at opportunities only in India. You could be sitting in India and developing story for someone in some other part of the world, right? So I think there is a
got it.
huge demand for good programmers, for good developers in the Web3 domain. A lot of them a lot of them are still at a very superficial level. So the guys who are
Mm.
deep into the technology, the guys who have actually built some good applications, I think for them there's a
Mm.
huge opportunity which is always waiting for them.
Got it. Got it. So we also have this one campaign which is like the campus chain program. We try to reach out to colleges and all these students who form a small blockchain club or sort of stuff, right? What I also think is the education system, the people who are in charge of the sort of the curriculum admin should also look into this, right? So that this could be part of the larger curriculum and not just restricted to developers and students who are primarily want to be part of the Web3 domain, right? That could be like a linear growth approach versus the exponential growth, right? So, what do you think from that perspective, from that lens? That does this part of the entire curriculum as well?
Again, in my role as the founder of Ideal Labs, we work with more than 200 colleges across India. So, to be fair to the colleges and the college management, I think they have the intent.
Mm,
Their heart is in the right place. They all want to
yeah.
build, students and skill sets around emerging technologies. Bodies like AICT
Yeah.
also have been quite proactive in trying to inculcate curriculum. I know of a
Yeah.
lot of colleges who have blockchain as part of their engineering. They have computer science
Hmm.
with blockchain as a stream in engineering. But I think the
Correct.
challenge is very enormous. It's not very easy for the
Hmm.
existing faculty to kind of learn the skill set overnight. Plus, I
Yes.
think unless you have the partnership with industry players, it's always going to be
Hmm.
theoretical. And unfortunately, with the right intent of trying to skill students on emerging technologies, a lot of
Yeah.
times the interest actually dies down among students because it's
Hmm.
all theoretical. So I think the way forward is for colleges to partner with industry, have
Hmm.
practitioners as mentors, and
Hmm. Hmm.
either make it part of their curriculum or start off with some adjunct programs, and then the interested students will pick up. And as people see the benefits of learning these skill sets and getting great opportunities, others will also follow.
Correct. Correct. So on the same time, there's a fear, within the students or within the developers that this could not be the right thing for them or whatsoever. There are plenty of reasons, and the ecosystem, the market give enough proof or sort of setbacks to them for not believing in the technology. What do you think? Is the right approach also to learn? Despite crypto part is there, despite the whole myth and all that sort of stuff is there, right? So Web3 developers are one, but who are Web2 developers as of now, but curious to Web3? What do you think would be the right approach, even if, say, the colleges and universities probably not be able to help them in some way or the other? What do you think is the right approach for them to build decentralized apps for the real life, world?
Right. So I think this is a classic challenge that is always going to be there with emerging technologies. If you are too
Hmm.
early, then it looks like a big risk that you're taking. And if you don't
Yeah.
embark on the journey now, you'll be left out, and you will then become a commodity and will not be able to derive the premium out of learning new skill sets or new technologies. And this is common
Hmm.
not just to Web3, but I would have seen that in the last 20 years across multiple technologies. 2000, early 2000, it used to be mobile app, then about VoIP, then let's say something around
Yes.
smart TVs or something like that, right? There could be, I mean, this keeps
Yeah.
repeating every time a new technology comes in. My advice
Yeah.
would be the developers that you don't lose nothing. For example, if Web3 succeeds the way all of us believe, right, then you are going to
Yeah.
get the premium of being among the
Yeah.
first set of developers who understands this technology.
Yep.
Let's say, for theory sake, Web3 doesn't succeed, or it takes a more longer time than we assume it to
Correct.
take for it to become mainstream. Still, you don't lose, because your recruiters will always look at the proactiveness that you have shown, will always look at
Yes.
the smartness by which you have learned things on your own, build things on something premium, build things on something emerging, and that gives a lot of
Hmm.
confidence to them to recruit you and then deploy on whatever is the requirement. So why not learn a emerging skill set and prove your capability?
Yep.
Best case scenario, you get premium out of it. Worst case scenario, you're still
Yes.
appreciated for learning something new.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree, and that's a beautiful answer actually. So I'm sure not just the developers in India, but I'm sure that you must be interacting with a lot of developers outside India as well, right? What do you think is the current mindset of the real builders of Web3, India versus rest of the world?
Yeah, so I think you can clearly divide it into two or three categories. One who are already converted,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they don't worry, they're not bothered about the doubt mongers. They're quite keen on building their skill set, and they are quite happily engaged with a lot of projects at
Hmm.
various levels. The second category would be the people who are sitting on the wall, right? Their heart is in Web3 and their mind is kind of asking them questions. Is it the right bet to take? I think they
Correct.
would need some more time to take that shift. And then, of course, there's still a large number of people who are on the other side of the fence, still figuring it out, how and what is Web3 and how can they participate. And that's where I think some of the forums like you and things like the initiatives that you have taken may help, because I still see a lot of challenge in terms of the awareness. And
Yes.
like I always say, the kind of bad publicity about crypto generally
Yeah.
overtakes the core technology of blockchain. So I think it is very
Yes.
important to keep reiterating, to keep repeating ourselves that crypto is just one part of the story, and there are
Yes.
several more use cases of blockchain. And as a technology, I think it's a foundational technology, it's a fundamental technology which brings trust,
Yes.
which creates the next wave of innovation, and it's going to affect every
Correct.
aspect of human life. So better learn that and better be prepared on that. But I think a lot of awareness is still required. Though some of us who are part of
Mm,
this industry think that every
mm.
alternate day there is some event, there is some talk, there is some kind of post about Web3. I think
Yeah.
there's still a lot more that needs to be done.
Makes sense. No, absolutely right. And I think it might take some time as we have seen the pattern in the other emerging technologies as well. Now AI has picked up, and it was always there primarily, but now since the mass adoption has really happened, so of course, that thing is also growing, right? Yeah,
Yeah, so
please.
if I were to add a point, so I think this is another big challenge that people
Hmm.
are very excited about slotting things. So they would say, now I'll learn
Yeah,
AI, I'll not learn blockchain or Web3 kind of thing. But the fact is,
yeah,
all of these
yeah.
technologies are going to coexist, and a solution is
Correct.
built by having all of these
Yes.
together. So if you
Yeah,
want to be in Web3 space, you would probably
yeah.
also learn AI, or you would learn metaverse, right? So it's not
Yes.
about this versus that. I think it is all of that
Hmm.
which is going to shape the Web3. AI is very much
Yes.
part of the Web3 story that we envisage.
Absolutely.
Now, you
Hmm.
may be a front end developer, you may be writing an algorithm in AI, you may be developing some UI UX in metaverse, you may be doing
Yeah.
some core thing in blockchain. So that depends, which happens even today in Web 2, for example. Not one person develops the entire
Yes.
application, right? Someone is developing the front end, someone
Absolutely.
is developing the back end. So I think just that the
Yeah.
paradigm is now shifting, and you have the
Hmm.
new toys, and you have to now
Yeah.
learn to work with these new toys. Someone may be playing
Hmm.
around with AI, someone may be playing around with NFTs and metaverse or whatnot.
Correct. Correct. So that's great, actually. Like people like us, companies are like us, who are trying to evangelizing the entire ecosystem with the right knowledge and the skill set. That is one, part to look at it. One is the developers, they themselves are trying to do some stuff. How about the companies? The big tech companies. As a fresh graduate, probably the developers who are starting their professional career, they would probably want to bet their careers on blockchain or Web3. But on the same time, they do want to get in the big techs as well, right from the beginning, or eventually their plans as right. What do you think is that lens is actually coming out from the corporate side, from the big tech side? Are they really hiring the specialized blockchain developers? How's the ground scenario really looks like?
Yeah, so again, every time there's a new wave of technology, new players come up. Large corporates
Yeah.
would always be a little cautious, while they would have some small team or division within their company working on emerging technologies. I think for them, one, the technology should mature enough, and there should be enough clientele for them to put their resources and time, because they are also answerable to a lot of other stakeholders. So you'll
Yeah.
always see startups, you'll always see smaller companies driving the innovation in the beginning. And then when the market matures and there is enough mainstreaming of the technology, that's when the large players
Hmm.
enter, either organically or by acquiring the
Hmm.
smaller companies and startups. Uh, that said, to my understanding, and because as India Blockchain Forum, we get a chance to work with a lot of corporations across India and quite a few across the world also, all of them
Hmm.
at some level are engaging with Web3 technologies. All of them at some level are building pilots, POCs. But the nature of technology is such that you need the entire ecosystem to work together. You need a lot of external partners to work together. This is not a technology where
Yes.
a corporate can get up one day morning and say, I will start adopting this technology. This technology doesn't make
Yes.
sense unless your partners, unless the other stakeholders
Correct.
also um, embark on the journey. And that's not an easy thing.
Correct.
Everyone has their own
Yes.
priority, everyone has their own timelines. So I think as of
Yes.
today, at one level, the corporates are engaging in building proof of concepts, in building some pilot programs.
Mm,
At the other level, I also see a lot of consortiums being created. For example, as India Blockchain Forum, we are creating a whole lot of consortiums in multiple areas with some
mm,
very interesting corporates, with some very interesting brands. And the idea is, how do we
mm,
sit together? How do we brainstorm together and
mhm.
start building some solutions with everyone together? So I think that's where the corporates are.
Perfect, perfect. No, actually, that will really help, and that's why even we at ZY trying to do, because a lot of developers when they come to us, when we interact, they're always like, "Hey, we have learned the theoretical part, but I think the building part is sort of missing. That building piece is sort of missing," and that's why probably we also try to give them that platform where they can actually come, use and drag and drop features and build their own decentralized app, and that's how probably they will see the value. And once I think overall we need to empower and sort of set these developers first before even the Web3 ecosystem move to the retail users or the customers and find its way to metaverse and even more brands and everything, right? We need to first empower the developers, and I think that's a motive we and that's a journey I think we all have sort of embarked on. But this was a wonderful, wonderful chat. Yeah, yeah, please, please, please.
So I may be sounding a little old school thought, but I think some of our developers also should understand that they should get carried away with the hype of Web3. It's just a
Mm,
different set of technologies. So if they can be
mm,
a little more sensible in their expectations, just because someone has learned a Solidity programming language, or just because someone has learned a little bit of
yeah,
AR VR engine kind of a thing,
yeah,
it doesn't mean
yeah,
that their remuneration is going to shoot up 3x overnight. I think
yes,
a lot of
yes.
developers are also confused, and they end
Mm,
up expecting a very high premium, which doesn't help
mm,
them in getting the right opportunities. I think they should be a little more grounded and balanced about it. Get into the industry, start proving their skill set, and keep growing. The hype is not going
yes.
to work. At the end of the day, it has to be a reasonable proposition for everyone involved.
Absolutely. This is actually a very great point that you have mentioned because that's how a lot of people could be, the students or the developers community could be discussing about. But yeah, this was actually a right point to discuss about to have like a long-term benefit to their own professional careers as well and to the, companies who are building in Web3 and for the ecosystem in general. So yeah, that was a really, really great point. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pankaj. And this was a lovely, lovely chat. And I'm sure the developers who are sort of watching us will definitely get a lot of insights from this, interview. So thank you once again for joining.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Thank you, Naman, and my best wishes to all the developers in this ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.